Frank,
Dynamite.
Frank, come on, in, man.
Can I Be Frank is all about capturing real, authentic, unedited conversation. Please do consider supporting the process of podcasting and video making on Patreon or through PayPal. I will put some links in the description below. Thanks a mil.
Going backpacking.
Oh wow, that's very cool.
Yeah, I do it I have once a year where I just go backpacking without any agenda. Just off I go.
Any agenda in the sense of you're just leaving the house and walking?
I just go, well, I got a flight to Vietnam, and then after that, I don't know.
Okay, that's very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very different. And do you take footage or that sort of thing? Would you?
I take pictures, yeah.
Pictures, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I take some photos.
Mm.
Yeah, no meetings, no schedules.
Yeah, you're happy enough not to have that?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, I struggle with things that are planned way in advance. I don't know why I don't like the idea of them, because they'll always be on my mind almost. And I kind of like, if you get a notion to do something that you can just go and do it.
Yeah.
It's like today or whatever, I sent you a message this morning, you were available today. So that's kind of handy, because I might not feel like doing it next week. And then you feel like, oh, you can't say no, or after arranging it, I don't feel good about cancelling things either. So
Yeah, sure.
yeah, it's only an idea, but you see, I worked for a long time and a 9 to 5 thing. Just I couldn't get my head around that this is the way it was every day. It's just
Yeah, I'm lucky. I've never had to do that.
Have you not? Okay.
Well, I had a business once, and that was more like a 12, 14-hour day rather than 9 to 5.
Yeah, that's
Never
7
again.
days a week. Yeah. No, I get notions sometimes, but yeah. Well, I don't have a list of questions. You might not be surprised by that. So it's kind of just kind of we'll see how it goes, sort of thing.
Yeah.
I know.
It's nice to be back.
What's that?
Nice to be back.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah, this is our second time doing this, but sometimes when I say this to say somebody like Kenneth, he would say, "No, we've never done this before." And
it's true, but it depends. When I'm giving a talk, I'll be like this, or an interview. But if it's just like general conversation, I'm just like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. You just don't. You don't bother saying no. It's never happened before. No. But that, there is that. Obviously, though, there's the distinct impression that we've chatted before. Although things are different and all that, but we have done a podcast on nothing before.
Well, in that case, really, we haven't. But when I shoot the breeze, I'm just like, yeah. Because I don't want to be an non-dual asshole.
Yeah. Well, is there a way to avoid that?
Just to be normal.
Yeah.
Except for in talks, but that when in the talk, it's very specific. It's people looking for this freedom idea, the freedom idea, and then it's very kind of very one-pointed in that way. It's just different.
Okay, and it's very uncompromising, is it really?
Absolutely, yeah. No room to breathe.
Yeah.
As soon as you give that seeking energy any room to breathe, it's just like a little bit of hope, a little gasp of hope.
Yeah. I think, is that a concerted thing, or is that just the way it is? But is there, this idea of this hopeful me thing, trying to get this, that you're saying that's cut down. Is that that's just the way you seem to approach this? Is it, or?
It's a spontaneous response.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, because I've seen a few lately, and maybe just some intro videos or something, and yeah, definitely seem to get like you're wielding an axe in terms of how that you're choking the me energy almost. That seems to be
Well,
what's
it's
happening.
only fair to do that.
What do you mean by that?
Well, if you indulge in the story, which is not true, the story of the person is not true, and if you indulge in that story, you're just indulging you're indulging it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's no indulgence of that story because it's not true. It's like having an audience of people who believe in Father Christmas or something equally absurd and going, well, yeah, when Father Christmas once visited me, but there is no Father Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, Father Christmas died for me a long time ago. Yeah, well, it died for you. There's like, well, then it died for you. It can die for me.
Yeah.
And it's not true. There is no person who dies or leaves or comes or goes.
It's almost then all stories, all words, all everything are absolutely irrelevant then, or not irrelevant, but don't explain anything or have no
Don't
weight.
explain anything. No, no weight at all. No, not really, because there's actually nothing really going on.
Yeah.
There's just this happening. There's just you and me sitting here on Zoom talking. And yet paradoxically, this is what we're talking about. But it doesn't matter, you see, it doesn't matter.
And yeah, it's not like I want that to be any other way when you say that. It's not like I want to kind of say, well, there is a story, there is a life, there is a whatever, there is anything. And I have I suppose, a curiosity. It's a tired sort of curiosity about this thing that's not a thing. And then even like sometimes, when I'm doing these sorts of podcasts and I'm calling them non-duality, like I put non-duality in brackets, and because that then I am making it a thing almost, when it shouldn't really be a thing. I don't want it to be a thing. I don't want it to be this obscure subject that I talk about, but it's not really that either. It's it's a tired, hungry thirst to know this, when that's all that I want to know that this is it, and yet knowing this is it again would be another thing that I'd have.
Absolutely.
For the rich, it's like this. I get emails from time to time, and people say, do you really believe these people you're talking to? Do you really they're just mimics of Tony and all this, and it's not really that they do it in an aggressive way, but sorry, I'm talking long-winded here. Hopefully there'll be a question at the end of it, but I suppose I don't want to be an authority on, an expert on what I think is an uncompromising non-dual communication, but I suppose I have a feeling for, I suppose, something that's kind of uncompromising, because I'm a businessman, or have been a businessman, and I know about gathering in, I know about feeling wealthy, I know about all these things that you can acquire and keep and own, and you get 15 minutes here or there. They're not, you remain empty with them, really, all of the things that you might seek. And so then this sort of communicate, I can't really say, when I reply, I do reply to these from time to time, because and I suppose I just say, well, I don't know what it is really, but I like this sort of thing, and I hate it at the same time.
Yeah. Well, you see, that's just everything that is happening here, even a whole story about work and everything, the whole feeling that I love it and I hate it is absolutely in free fall. This is it. It's like this. It's interesting that you were saying about the authority thing. I was saying that on my talk last night. I was saying, like, I said, I don't give advice normally, but this is my one piece of advice. Don't believe anybody.
Yeah.
You know, don't believe anybody, because it's just another form of seeking. I just, they're saying something and I want what they have. Well, the thing is that nobody has anything. So there is no freedom. There's no freedom. Because who would be free? And we're not really even talking about non-duality. We're just sitting here talking about actually just what is. And it's undeniable that there is what is. And there's no mystery to that, even though it is a mystery, but there's no mystery to that. It's just what is what is. And it's irrelevant in this whether there's a sense of seeking or not a sense of seeking. It just doesn't matter, because it's the one thing. There's no freedom or not freedom. There's no someone or no one. It's just absolutely this. And in this can appear as, I don't get that. That is absolutely this as well.
And so there's no sense of wanting to figure out, I suppose, yeah, how could it be? But there's no sense, obviously, of trying to figure out, okay, well, what the fuck is this then? What's this? What is this thing? For me, it seems to be this thing that I am in, and this seems to be happening.
Yeah.
This seems to be happening. So, Annie, I want to know what this is. I don't feel the sense, or I have this urge to want to know what this is, or to want to get that sense of home, or whatever the fuck. Maybe it's freedom, or maybe it's seeking nothing, but it is a kind of an urge to go, well, what is this like?
Yeah, that's
And
just
then, well, it is a bit of a heartfelt sort of kind of, might be story, but it's a kind of a heartfelt sense of, well, what is this? Or, well, yeah, but okay, but what is this? What is this? And, but obviously can you remember that feeling of wanting to know what this is? What like, woo, what is this? What am I? Beyond the words and all the things, is that just a story?
Yes. Yeah. But the urge of wanting to find this is what is.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I want to know what this is. But this is the microphone and the screen and the chair and the voices.
Everything has a story.
That is too.
Everything else is a story. But that's a story too, you say? No.
No, but stories appear, verbal story in the head. Well, I want and I need, and the sense of person, the space, the microphone, the screen. They're all landing at once. It's all or a fountain just happening and unfolding all at once, all at once. There's no separation. You can't separate out I want to know and the microphone. They're the same appearance. It's always the same appearance in different forms.
And so in here now, and what's happening, that side of the screen, you're saying this is it, and here I kind of obviously I feel like I'm protesting about being, and I feel silly protesting about that. Okay, but this is it, or somebody knows this is it, or you're home, or fucking something. Whereas here, I'm my perception of I'm in a world now I say that, and it's flimsy. It's flimsy-ish because it obviously is flimsy, but that is still the physical sense, and yet there is also the recognition when you say it's all just a story that I kind of get that too, like, but
yeah. Well, that sense is what is, and that sense separates itself out from Lisa or the microphone or the screen.
Yeah,
that's part of its appearance. That's its main ingredient of that appearance. But it's not separate. There's nothing separate. I mean, you can't find anything separate.
Obviously the alien then, though, is the sense of being here, because from your perspective, or from the way you're talking, everything is everything is, and there is no separation. Now, maybe I've said before, I can get a sense of that, what you're saying. I look around and I there is no sense of separation, but yet there is the feeling of trying to see that this is home, I have a gazillion people. I have 6 billion people behind me in terms of this. Whereas, you know what I mean? This is so obscure, this message, that it's, and yet even though you've the whole world behind you saying, no, everybody's telling you are an individual in the world, and you're trying. This is the year that it is, and this is time and space, and it's a finite life, and it's over. And that's maybe there's an afterlife story and all that type of thing. And yet over there, and that's the world. And here, then in this conversation, there's an entertainment of the idea that none of that is true. There's an entertainment of it. But obviously I go to you, I say this to you, and I say, well, that's not happening for Lisa. That's not there anymore. That died. Now, is that a story too? What's that?
Yes, there's no perspective. There's no perspective.
That's mad,
Lisa
though.
doesn't have a perspective.
Sorry for cursing.
Oh, it's all right. I can swear. I like a good swear.
I read somewhere recently that swearing is a sign of intelligence. Anyway.
Yeah, I swear really badly. I'm just a bit more behaved when I'm on screen.
Yeah. Sometimes somebody commented that I did well recently not to swear so much, but still then there's the story that, for example, that when you say there's no perspective, that's just nuts. Like, do you know that?
It's not. It's really simple. Okay, let's conjure up an imaginative story.
Okay.
So you're sat in the room, right?
Yeah.
You're just sat in the room, and there's no perspective. What's going on? Exactly. What's going on without a perspective, or without any interest in anything? What's going on?
Nothing.
Just sitting in a room, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's simple, but it's worlds. It's simple, but it's not simple. If you know what I mean, it's so simple, obviously, that
Yeah, well, there are no worlds apart. There are no parallel worlds. There is no me world and there is no me world. There is neither. Both can appear, but they're not separate. It doesn't, it's just irrelevant. It's this parallel worlds thing between a me and a no me. It's just another story happening right here. The same as the chair and the microphone, whatever. Perspective, no perspective, it doesn't matter because no one's doing any of it. It's life, absolutely in free fall. It seems like there's somebody here saying all this, but there's not. I know I sound like a lunatic. Yeah, I know, but you know, it's the case. It's the case. Whatever, doesn't matter what's happening. It doesn't matter if there's a whole world, say you're a person and you're finite and you're this and you're that. Nobody's saying that. That's just life happening. Life can appear as feeling like a finite human who's gonna like be whatever, reborn or died or whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because it's not up to anybody. It's just absolutely life, just life happening. It doesn't matter if there's stories about it, you know, whatever, like the story, you know, 6 million people, billion, is it billion now? Billion people behind me saying this. It's just like,
well, what I'm saying by that is that that's the kind of general play of the world is being, and yet it's not like I'm here going, no, you're wrong and I'm right. It's obviously
yeah,
I have a
yeah,
curiosity that's past the point of seeking proof or not proof or trying to believe
yeah.
you. The only thing that really remains, I suppose, is this idea that there is something called liberation and there is something called non-duality and there is I suppose there's still I definitely am, you know, one of these fucking seekers, you know, trying to figure this thing out and at the same time not wanting to, just want to get on with my life and forget about this sort of
You're
thing and
not, you're
maybe do a
not.
podcast on chicken wings or something.
Yeah, you might as well.
Yeah, I think I will. This could be the last one ever.
But
Yeah.
you're not a seeker.
Mm. Mm.
You're an appearance in free fall. You're just there. You're just there, getting on with your life.
Mm. Yeah. I'm laughing about the chicken wing podcast now, but anyway.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I mean, you can't. You can't. The liberation story is just a. It's just a nice, hopeful story.
yeah.
There's
Yeah.
nobody who's liberated because there's no body. How could like go? It's, you know, it's like an analogy I was giving the other day of like, okay, someone's liberated, right? They're liberated, and so the unliberated person looks at the rug and says, "Oh, there's a rug. You know, there's a rug, and there's something I want to see it." And there's the liberated person going, "Yeah, I know the rug now."
Mm.
It's nonsense.
Yeah.
It's nonsense. It's a nonsense story. There's only just life happening. It's already free to be what it is. And it can only be what it is because here it is happening. How can it be any other way? It's already itself, complete. Even the sense of seeking is already complete.
Mm. Yeah, the question I was going to ask there is, something must know itself, though. No, does it not? Like you say, you've been away from home and you come back home, you go, ah, nice to get back home.
Yeah, that can happen. Yeah. So what?
Well, the so what, I suppose, is if you're away from home, Lisa, or you have a feeling of being away from home
Yeah. Yeah.
and the relief of coming back home can be nice. That's all. And that's for a
Yes. Yeah.
human, that's more desirable, something, that sense of being home.
No, but that you're talking about literally actually coming home.
I'm talking about, I suppose, is this idea of, sometimes I am making, I'm back in the story of making something of the different perspectives. But
Oh, you mean home as in
this, this is the,
non-duality home? I thought you meant my house.
oh yeah, no, I'm not talking about that. No, I'm talking about
No, no,
non-duality, the
no. There's
home,
nobody
this,
who comes home. Nobody comes home.
nobody comes
This is all,
home.
no, this is all a story.
Yeah.
In fact, I've had to wipe out everything I've said for 3 years lately.
Go on, what do you mean by that?
Because I used to say all these things. That it's like coming home. For
Mm.
who? For who?
Mm.
It's not like coming home. It's already home, but not for anybody. So it doesn't matter whether there's an appearance of somebody or not, because it's already what it is. It's already home. But the person lives in the story of, oh, I want to come home. But unbeknown to that appearance of the person, it is home itself. It is all there is. This is the irony.
Fuck's sake. Ah.
There's no hope of coming home. It's just a nice story. This is already everything. There's nobody having this conversation. This is all there is. This is the entirety of everything happening. You can't understand that though, because there's no one to understand it. Because there's someone there is the entirety of everything.
There's someone there is the entirety of everything. What you mean by that?
Yeah, there's somebody, that the appearance of somebody being there, like, oh, I'm here, I don't get it, I don't get it. That is life happening. It's all the one energy. Energy, it's a word that's bandied around, but it's all the one thing. It's all the one thing.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, how arrogant would it be for someone to say, yeah, well, I know the whole of everything, the life, the universe, and everything, and I've got there, and you don't.
Mm.
What an arrogance, what that would be.
You see, I suppose when you navigate through the world in using words, and words are seen as as the pillars of reality.
Yeah,
That's how the world is almost seen through. Everything is a word almost. Life
yeah.
is a word as opposed to the full onness of life without words. So that's
Yeah.
why when we converse in that, I am trying to use words to get more words to know this. That's what's
Yes.
happening. And
Yes.
yet now well, I also know that within all these use of words and that it can't be it can't be the thing that I'm looking for, but that's how I navigate through the world, through words, really.
Yes. Yes. That's the way it appears. Yeah.
Hmm.
But none of it has an outcome or an end.
Yeah.
This is the outcome. This is it. Even this can't be it. Must be something more. Surely there must be something, some magical ingredient that I'm just not getting. Because she has it, and he has it, and they have it. There must be something they're saying that I'm not getting. But what's not being got is that there is nobody here. You can't get that either. That's just what's happening. It's really just very ordinary.
Yeah. And I have no real sense that it's extraordinary, or that it's holy, or that it's more blissful, or my sense of it is that it's ordinary life without the need for it to be other than how things are. That is my feeling.
Yeah.
And when I hear it described any way different, I kind of go, I'm not in the mood for bliss or peace.
No.
I'm not looking for that. I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm I'm happy enough with discomfort, or I'm happy.
Yeah. Way that's being described as I know it and it, and you're saying it and it, but there is no it. It's just, there's no mysterious it. It really is just this conversation. That's not an it.
It's objectifying things, then, isn't it?
You're
Really?
objectifying this conversation as a separate it.
Yeah.
The magical ingredient in what is going on there is an it. Like saying, I know it's not holy. Well, what is it? What is the it that is being talked about?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. My idea of what this thing that I'm searching for is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
Um,
ironically, you're not searching.
oh, for fuck's sake!
I know, it's like very frustrating because it's like looking for a pair of glasses. Like, let's get my glasses. It's like looking at a pair of glasses and going, "Where's the glasses? There must be it somewhere. There must be an it." It's the glasses. I need to
Yeah.
find the glasses.
So the game, or the thing that's happening then, is just this feeling that it's not it. I'm not trying to get it now, but I'm just trying to describe the
Yeah.
scenario that I perceive it from. That maybe there is a subtle overlying difference, and the only falsehood really is this feeling of that it's not it.
Yes.
This is not it.
Yes. This is not it.
And that's another story that hopefully
Yeah.
will play out till eternity. For me.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's the overlay, is the senses that this
Yeah.
is not it.
But it's not an overlay as a separate thing,
It's the
as if
full
that's
on.
something to be overcome.
Yeah, it's the
That,
full
like,
on what's happening.
that is the full on what's happening.
Yeah.
Is the overlay.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. It's already done. It's like saying that this is a veil, like the overlay, they're looking for a veil. It's that makes it sound like then a veil has to be taken away in order for everything to shine through, but it's not like that. This apparent appearance of a veil, is it?
Is the full on happening? Yeah, okay.
Because it's already just as much there as the glasses or the microphone.
And so again, you know, I had the feeling there really was that at the other side of that, what the fuck is there? Like nothing. The other side of that overlay, or not overlay,
no,
but that. There's no other side. That's the full on everything.
Side. Yes, it's already done.
So what happens when the story stops then?
When
that full on happening stops, what?
There's no stopping. There's no stopping. Everything just keeps changing appearance. You see, if I was to talk about that story, I might as well talk about a story of when I got drunk and threw up and then felt better the next day. You know, it has just as much relevance as that because it's a story. The story of me dropping away is actually not true. There is no me to drop away. There is no overlay. That is a real thing. It's not happening to somebody. It's not separate. See, to tell the story of a me dropping away it didn't happen to anyone. It's just a story appearing in this. And on top of the story, then there's the feeling, well, there's an overlay, and then there's a microphone, and everything is just happening at once.
It's funny, like I've heard it, obviously, probably I've heard it thousands of times, this idea that there is no me already.
Yes.
And you obviously hear it different ways at different times.
Yes.
And I, you know, sometimes when you hear there is no me that can drop away, you kind of almost want to go, oh well, just in order to hold on to something, you don't want that to be true, because then you want to seek out things that almost confirm that. And then when you hear, no, there is no me that can drop away, you almost for a moment you want to reject that idea, because, well, okay, what do we do then now? So it's always the okay. Well, what have I got next now? Okay,
yeah. Now what?
Now what? Yeah.
That's not denying that there can be an appearance of feeling like a person, but that isn't a person. It's the same energy appearing as everything else.
Yeah. I kind of can sense what you're talking about there, that that is the sense of being someone is everything.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. It's not like there's two things going on, one that's, yeah.
One that's separate and
one that's separate, and then one that's not, yeah.
Yeah.
The full on happening is the full on happening, and that's everything.
Yeah. 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 This appearance doesn't care whether it appears as a seeker, a murderer, a dog, a tree, a can of beans. Doesn't matter. It's all the same thing.
Chicken wings are not the same though. So
chicken wings.
So that's just crap.
It also can appear as a fascination. It can also appear as this conversation. It can appear. It appears as everything. It doesn't matter how it appears. It's absolutely undifferentiated. You can't pick it apart because the trying to pick it apart is this. There's nothing to pick apart. There's the enjoyment of picking it apart, you know, with politics and ideas and this and that and this and that, you know, that's just the whole dynamic of the appearance. And it's free to be that way. This is not about like denial of anything. It's more like the opposite. It's more like the embrace of everything. The inclusion rather than the exclusion. Because everything is already life, so how can anything be excluded? How can there be this like a special ones who know me's? I mean, it's absolute nonsense.
Mm. However, in what's happening in the world, that there is definitely people out there who speak about things and give you the impression that there's a way to get from A to B, and this isn't this. You're not quite in the land of the live, you know, of the awakened place yet. But I can show you how to get there. And then there is a sort of a different sort of let's call it obscure in terms of it's not everywhere, although I mean there's a lot more, we'll say, no me's that are not no me's, or whatever you want to call it. There are more people talking like the way you talk than there was, we'd say, a few years ago, even though it's still like pretty niche. It's not, and that's making it like a subject, but there's a subtle, is there a subtle difference, you know, between?
Yes and no. In the story, yes. In really no, but really no. No.
Yeah.
There's no difference between anything. Though at the same time, in the story of people giving advice to people that they're not there yet, and they need to get there, and this and that, you know, even though it's well-meaning, it's still kind of a bit abusive.
Yeah.
Because it's just not true. It's just not true. I mean, where would they get to? What would they know? That they're sitting in a living room? Now I know I'm sitting in a living room. It's just nonsense, really. It's just nonsense that now I know I'm sitting in a living room. Before it was like, well, now, I mean, there really is no getting there, because it's already, here it is. Here it is. It's the most obvious thing in the room. It's the room. It's literally the room.
Including the sense of it's not the room.
Yes. Yes, that's part of the room. That's part of the furniture. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how could it be any other way? Because, you know, try and find something else. All you can find is an idea or another thought or a hope or a dream. There's only what is.
You see, in when you navigate through the world in words, you can get the sense of that. For a moment, when the words drop away, you see, you can get the sense almost that of. You can get the sense that this is it, and you can get the sense of that everything is a story. That every last thing that almost comes out of your of my trapdoor here is a story, some description. But then when you look, and you almost then kind of go, oh, you have to remind myself, oh, it's only a story. It's only a story. And then you're kind of going down into another, telling yourself it's not a story, when it's, it's more, it's back into, you're back into knowing, and back into, oh, sure, it's only a story there. And it's kind of, it's not really true for the person which navigates the world.
It's
story.
I mean, stories just don't matter, because no one's telling the story anyway.
You're just going to kill me, aren't you? Like, it's kind of like, oh, I almost felt my head going down there.
That in a way is more free. It's more free. Because it's so awful for the person to be going around going, oh no, that was a story.
Oh, totally.
Oh no, I should be talking.
I mean,
I shouldn't be talking about chicken wings. I shouldn't be talking about.
If it's to do with memory or trying to remember, if it's to do with memory or a knowing or a remembering something,
doesn't matter.
Then
it doesn't matter.
Hmm.
Because no one's doing it anyway. It's already free. Because it is. So it can't be anything other than what it is. It already is. So if there's a story being told, it already is. It's absolute aliveness happening as a story. And then there's the thought, oh, I shouldn't be having a story. That's a story. That is it too. It's just always itself. Life is always itself, undifferentiated.
Oh yeah, fucking hell. I went down a rabbit hole there of this idea that this. So then, really, this when you hear even though you've heard this, it's funny, you've heard the second part of what I'm going to say, but you choose to ignore it. The first part of what I'm going to say is the first part is liberation can only be seen when the self falls away. That's the first part. The second part is you hear, but there is no self that falls away anyway. That's only a story. But you actually choose to fucking delete that part, because the first part seems like, okay, that could be a doing. So even though you hear liberation is only seen, or liberation only happens when the self falls away, but then the second part, there is no self that falls away. That's only a story. Every time, mostly you hear that the two are together, but your brain goes, okay, well, I mean, I'm
just scrap the first part.
Let's keep the first part. Let's get rid of the second part. Let's get rid of the second part every time. Just let's delete the part that it's only a story, because, well, it's only when you see it, then you know that it's only a story. So you have to see it to know that it's a story. But that's definitely the seeking thing, isn't it?
There are those two phrases. The first part's the only nonsense bit.
Yeah. But we've heard that, I mean, seekers, no matter where you go and what you still hear in some way, shape, or form that energy plays out, or whatever, that energy plays out till it plays out, and then it dissolves.
It's time to scrap it. It's time to scrap that story. It's a shit story, and it's useless. It's a useless story. You might as well tell any story.
Yeah.
For its meaning, there's no meaning in it. Because there's only this. So anything that anyone talks about of what happened to them, I think it's actually unfair, in a way. It's like telling, if I was to tell that story, it would be a lie. Because there's nothing that's happened. It's never happened. So I'm basically regurgitating a story that's happening, and it's not true. It's just not true. is only this, there's only what is here. And there's nothing wrong with stories, but I think in this conversation, if I was to tell that story, I'd be like doing a disservice, really. Because then it gives the hope that there is something called liberation, but there is no liberation, because who would become liberated? And I know all the arguments, and I know all the non-dual arguments behind that. But when you look at it, when you look at that whole conversation we've just had, it's just a story going on, isn't it? All of it's just a story going on. It's a conversation going on. It's not really going anywhere. It's not moving anywhere. It's just unfolding on its own for no real reason or purpose. It just is itself. And I realise that makes no sense at all. But then again, there can be that sense of it, you know, because what I'm talking about is the most obvious thing, but not to somebody. It really is just what's going on.
Hmm. Sometimes when I do you know? Do you ever see? You know, in baseball, just bear with this now. You know, is it
Yeah,
baseball? You know, the guy who catches the ball. He's normally
yeah,
covered. He's got a big mask on. He's got some sort of a
yeah.
leather protection thing and gloves and everything like that. Sometimes I feel like when I come in, when I go to have these sorts of chats, that I should almost come in dressed like that. You know, with a bat to protect myself. Can you
Yeah,
that is
yeah.
because you're it's like a bit of fucking sadomasochism almost, going in getting yourself beaten up.
Yeah, except for no one's being beaten up.
Yeah, thanks, Lisa. Yeah. Mm. Mm.
Gorgeous though, having this conversation. It's so sublime. It's so sublime
Really?
and ineffable.
Yeah.
It's impossible. It's impossible. We're having an impossible conversation because we're just talking about actually just sitting here having a conversation. It's like two people sitting here having a conversation, talking about sitting here having a conversation.
Yeah. This like
Yeah. But, you know, then the seeker goes, you know, the seeking appearance goes, yeah, but there must be more than, there must be something to that. I need to see that. I need to see that there's two people having a conversation. Well, seeing it makes no difference to two people having a conversation because it's already going on. It's already going on.
hmm. My brain is just loads of fucking stupid questions that I've heard the answer to countless times, almost going into a panic searching for questions like how and why and but and blah blah blah
Yeah,
blah blah.
yeah,
Can you?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You see, that's just part of the conversation. That's just what's going on.
Mm.
Because the bottom line is there is no separation. So it doesn't really, you know, what's going on is what is going on.
And then, you know, when you hear what is going on, you almost go, okay, I can see what, yeah, yeah, what is going on is going on. But blah, 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 blah,
Yeah,
blah,
yeah,
blah, blah.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what's going on too.
Yeah, yeah, no, it is. That is what's going on. That is what's going on. That we can definitely
Yeah,
agree on. Yeah.
yeah.
Fucking hell.
But that is in itself complete, you see. There's no escape from it because it's already being done.
Mm.
And it's always I know that it's always nicer if the speaker tells a nice story about their falling away and everything. I know it's a nice story, but you see the thing, it really is just a story.
Yeah, and I don't really have it's not that I don't have the interest to still like a good story, but I don't have the interest because I know how I operate, and I operate is like as if you were to tell me that you were in Vietnam and you're going off and freewheeling it for 3 or 4 weeks. That sounds fucking amazing. And it's the same way you used to tell me a story about liberation. That sounds fucking amazing too. I, I don't want to hear them. No, I'll hear about your trip to Vietnam maybe sometime.
Yeah, it's a way more interesting story.
But you know what I mean? It's hearing something about somebody and the way I operate is, God, geez, that I wouldn't. I want that, you know. And I don't really
Yeah.
want to hear those things because it's more that energy of feeling like, oh, it's just this wanting to gather in things and have things and all that. Like it's this insatiable thing. And
What with the so-called liberation story?
yeah, see, hearing something like, because I remember you did actually tell me about it. You told me about waking up in the morning, you were going, woo. And I was kind of,
Yeah,
when I hear that, I go, woo. I wonder will I wake up in the morning and go, woo.
yeah,
And then
but
I
that's
just kind of
true.
go, oh, there's another little, what you call it, you go down if you want to.
Yeah,
And that's fine. I just don't
yeah.
really want to go down those paths.
No,
I'm
and the
happy
thing
enough.
is, it's not true. The thing is, it's not true. It's
Mm.
not that I was making a story up, but the story isn't true because nothing happens to anybody because there is nobody. There's just nobody. There's only everything, and that includes the feeling of being somebody. But that is not a somebody who is separate and can fall away as a separate being. It's just not true.
Mm.
So if somebody ever asks me that story again, I'm just not going to say it because it's just not true, and it's not right to say it because it's what does it mean? It means it means that somebody's special, the special thing that happened.
Mm.
But it's not special. But I mean because this is it. It's either special or nothing is special. It can't be this is special, then that's not special. Because how can it be like that if it's non-dual? If there's no duality, which there isn't, how can the special and not special? If that makes any sense.
Oh, I like that idea, I suppose, the or not trying to make it. I like the ordinariness of what you're saying. So,
Yeah. Because it really is, right? I mean, really is just you're sitting here talking, talking about
talking,
ordinariness.
talking about talking.
This, talking about talking.
Yeah. Mm.
I think it's in our culture as well to like make special people, you know.
Yeah, well, I think it's in everything. Yeah, from parent, from
Yeah,
father to mother to
yeah, yeah,
king to queen to priest to leader to
yeah.
politician to
Celebrities,
scientists, celebrities. Everybody
yeah,
is kind of special one way or another. There's the special and
gurus,
not special.
yeah, the
Gurus.
gurus,
Oh yeah, the
everything.
gurus. Yeah.
Yeah. But either everything is special or nothing is special. You can't have both. You can have it as a story, but it's not true. Because there's nobody who gets there because there's nobody and there's there up there. There's only just you and me sitting here having a conversation.
Hmm.
Or whatever's going on, you know.
Yeah. There we go, Lisa.
There we go.
There we go.
This is it.
This is it and not it at the same time.
Nah, forget it. Forget it. It's just it's just what's going on. I mean, anything, you know, you can have all these romantic sounding words, and I'm guilty of that as well. I can be this sort of like romantic, poetical person on occasion,
Mm.
and I'll say, oh, it's this, it's that, but none of them have any meaning because really it's just sitting here having a conversation. And if there's a sort of a poetic romanticism going on, then that's what's going on. But there are no set things here.
Mm.
It's real and it's unreal. You see, when you have a description like that, what's going to happen? It's going to be put into a concept.
Yeah. The
And then
meaning
it's going to be
maker.
used on Facebook to troll people with.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. the it's kind of like when you hear words like the beloved or whatever. It's we are the meaning makers. We are the
Yes, yes,
story makers, the
yes.
weavers of
Yeah,
whatever, and
absolutely.
we'll look for that's
Yeah,
that's what we are like.
yeah. That's right. That's right. Yeah. And it doesn't matter really how it's said because it doesn't matter in the end.
Mm.
Yeah. I mean, I like Tony's use of the word beloved.
Yeah, it's a bit of rock and
It's
roll
very
as
Tony,
well.
though, isn't it? It's very Tony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. I can see, sometimes I get flashes of why it's described. Again, these are words, but why it's poverty, why it's described as absolute poverty,
Oh,
because of the fact that there is nothing in it for that which thinks there's something in it, for them. But I like, anyway. I can see again. These are all words, I suppose.
yeah. I think it's very dramatic, poverty. It's like poverty for who?
Yeah, I don't know. I,
No, I don't
I,
know.
I, I But you like the rich man and all that shit. I kind of like the idea of it, but again, that's playing into a story, I suppose.
Yeah, it's a bit dramatic. Oh,
The eye of the needle,
poverty.
yeah.
Oh, oh, the drama, the scraping away of the self.
Yeah, it's
There is no
drama.
self to scrape away.
Mm.
It's just whatever life appears at is what life is appearing as. And if it's appearing as the drama of the terror of falling away, the terror of dying, well, no one's doing that. It's just a happening. It's not happening to anyone. None of it matters. There's no importance in it. It's just what it is. It's just already free. But that's an awful message, isn't it? Because it's really not kind of sexy. People like the death drama and the falling away drama.
Well,
And
the drama. People like the
the
drama.
drama.
That's,
Yeah, they like
people like
the
drama, yeah,
drama.
of some
Yeah,
description. Has to be
yeah,
a story of some description in everything.
yeah, yeah,
Or
absolutely.
because if there isn't, then what's in it for me? Like, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Nothing wrong with drama and stories, of course. Yeah, but that drama, you see, this what we're talking about is very unsexy in terms of drama.
Yeah. Yeah.
It sounds very appealing, all this falling away and dying and then being reborn, liberated. So now I see everything for how it really, really is. Well, no one saw it for how it was before. No one's seeing it how it is apparently after some kind of experience. It's just not.
But that's what I mean. It's funny, like you said there, and you probably actually did say it the last time about there is no liberation. You probably did actually. But
Yes.
and that, and like you know, Tony would say it. I've heard it before, but then I haven't, because I've just chosen to ignore the part that, well, that's just a story too. That's just another thing. I've just, for whatever reason, decided to ignore the negation of the first, because I operate in absolutes. So it's either true or it's not true. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because again, you operate in truths, you know, truisms, or
yeah.
But again, that's more to stuff that you can kind of gather in and hold on to, you know. And then I'm trying to make it like a process. I'm just describing the scenario of why, or how, you know, it's kind of interesting to me how how I would totally ignore that.
Yes. Ignore the absolute crux of it all.
Yeah. Oh, totally ignore that part, just because of the liberation word.
Yeah. Liberation word. Yeah. That's
And
sexy
again,
appealing word.
well, it totally is. Yeah, it's a brilliant word. Liberation. Fucking hell.
I don't even know what that even looks like. Liberation. It's bullshit. That's just what's going on. Then it means, like, if there is liberation for like 3 or 4 people in the whole world, then what about everybody else? And what about all the cats and mice and, you know, dolphins? You know, there's only there's just the special ones. It's just nonsense, because everything is free. Everything. How can it be otherwise?
Though it does appear like it isn't, but that's freedom, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it's
even
already
though
free. It's not freedom. It's not freedom for somebody, but it's free to be what it is. Because it is what it is. It can't be any other way than what it is. It's almost like shouting. There's only this. I'm not shouting to someone, but it's like it's just this. So it's just, I can't even say. Yeah. Too simple. Yeah.
Too simple for, obviously it's too simple then for somebody.
There is nobody.
There is. No. See, I'm going to run now. I'm going to run for the hills. Fucking hell.
Awesome.
There we go. So when we might wrap it up over the hour mark. Not that that matters, but when are you off?
Friday.
Lucky you.
Yeah. I really love just traveling around on my own.
Pottering.
Getting into scrapes and trouble.
Okay. Pottering is a lovely thing to do. Meandering and pottering.
Yeah, pottering about, getting on buses, getting off buses, not knowing where I'm staying. Just love that. Jungles, love jungles. I love
Jungles.
cities. I love cities as well. I love eating.
Yeah. Food.
Vietnamese food, awesome. Yeah.
Coffee's great over there too, apparently.
I hear it's brilliant in
Yeah.
Vietnam. Yeah. Yeah.
Sure
I
enough.
love coffee.
Oh, I'm a fiend for coffee.
I love it. Oh,
It's amazing.
drug.
I've tried to give it up. I gave it up a few times, but absolutely wouldn't recommend it.
No. I like it. It's really good.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. I might have one after this actually.
I've just had a pot, my second pot of the day, so I won't be sleeping tonight.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you, Lisa.
Yes, thank you, Frank. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a bit of crack, I suppose. Hi, if you like the conversation that I just had and you'd like more, please hit the subscribe button. Thank you.
Frank, man.